I would like to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with an announcement. And I'm going to read it. We just received this morning, and it's from the Prairie Spirit School Division. Dear sirs and madams, Local Government Week, November 11th to 17th. Local Government Week has been proclaimed by the province to recognize those involved in the various levels of local government. On behalf of the Prairie Spirit Board of Education and School Division, I would like to express our appreciation for your commitment and dedication to your local communities. Thank you for your public service that benefits all of us and makes our province strong and vibrant. Sincerely, Sam Dick, Chairperson for the Prairie Spirit School Board of Education, and Lori Jeske, Director of Education, Prairie Spirit School Division. Thank you. I want to make sure you guys have seen that because we only received that today. Is there any other announcements around the table? Brian?
Yeah, I got a text right before I came that they just announced Warman did get a AAA midget team. So that's big news. Yeah, they just announced it. Just put it on the website, so that's exciting for the board. Put a ton of work. I don't know if anyone ever seen the package they put together, but it was about 80 pages long and it was a lot of work. So they're really excited and great for us. Yeah.
So when does it?
So starts next year. So basically today the work starts on governance and trying to get a board and coaches and a manager and just all the planning and billets and all that stuff that they'll need for next year. So excited but a little overwhelmed, I think, with the next steps.
Good. Anything else around the table? Okay, well, moving down. Approval of agenda, please. Councillor Philipchuk.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the November 12th, 2019 regular meeting of council agenda.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Shram. Any discussion there? We all in favor? Thank you. Approval of minutes. Councillor Peterson.
I'd like to make a motion that the minutes from the October 21st, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting and the October 28th, 2019 regular meeting of council be adopted as read.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Beck, is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, great, thank you. Administration report, starting with planning manager.
Thank you, Mayor Spence, members of council. One item for discussion tonight, and it relates to the tender award for the traffic signal installation at Pebble Beach Boulevard and Centennial Boulevard. Council originally budgeted to have traffic signals installed at the intersection of Pebble Beach Boulevard and Centennial Boulevard in 2018. Due to some issues with contractor hired to do the design at the time, the project was put on hold until 2019. Commercial and residential development taking place east of the intersection is driving the need to install traffic signals at this location. Traffic also continues to increase on Centennial Boulevard due to the new interchange being located on Highway 305. We did have a few issues trying to find companies to bid on the project, just mainly due to the scale of the project and the expertise, I guess, within the province. A lot of the companies that do this work are out of province, and due to the one signal, felt it either wasn't worth their time to bid on or knew that their price would be high just due to the travel time. So we did find 2 companies to bid on the project. Prices have been listed below. As mentioned, the MOU, which was signed with Avatex Developments for the Stonegate site, does allow us to pay or charge Avatex Developments for 50% of the total cost to install these traffic signals. So the price mentioned of $176,034.90 will be, I guess, split in half between the city and Avatex Developments once the project has been complete. So the recommendation tonight is that council award the contract to install traffic signals at Centennial Boulevard and Pebble Beach Boulevard to Albright Electric.
Who wants to make that motion? Councillor Shram.
I would like to move to award the contract to install traffic signals at Centennial Boulevard and Pebble Beach Boulevard to Albright Electric for a price bid of $176,034.90 with the intent to invoice Avatex Developments for half of the installation costs. I so move.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Peterson. Further discussion here. Yes?
The only question I have is, being local, are we going to have challenges with any repairs? Is that, that was one of the challenges and one of the things that we were looking for. And I realized the challenge of getting somebody to bid on it, and there's a huge difference here, so covers a lot of repairs between the 2 prices.
For sure, yeah, we have had some issues in the past, not going to lie, in terms of finding expertise to do the repairs. Public Works has found, we did have a gentleman in place who since moved on with careers, but we have found a new one. And in addition, Albright Electric actually has someone who's trained in a lot of the logistics around the electrical side of things. We would still probably, if there was a major issue or we had to look at the timing again, which wouldn't be in the near future, we'd probably need to look to some engineering expertise for the actual timing of the lights. But the component repair, any issues with the wiring or anything like that could be handled by Albright Electric.
Anything else? Councillor Beck?
So, just a question in terms of the number of bids that we were getting in. So with this year, this was deferred, certainly to this time of year because we couldn't get, say, qualified bids during the year. So the reason that we got these, was it because of the time of year and these companies are slow? Like, is this the time that we should be looking at kind of doing this kind of work because there's nobody really locally to install them?
Definitely for both companies, when I had discussions with them before sending them the bid documents, this was kind of the best time of year in terms of what they're looking for when they're looking for business. Part of the reason that the project was kind of, I guess, pushed so late in the year was due partly to that design aspect and taking a while to get the design from the engineering contractor. But I don't think it would have made a difference in terms of time of year if we got the bids in. It was more kind of due to the scale of the project. If we would have had a couple of lights to package together or multiple lights, or it would have maybe been combined with another project where you use similar expertise, I think we probably would have had more companies that were interested in it. But the logistics of setting up in town, mobilizing for a project like this with the one light, in some circumstances, I guess just doesn't make economic sense for them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Just a point of clarification, why is it difficult to find repair contractors? Like, are they different than Saskatoon's?
No, the problem is Saskatoon has it in-house. And we have actually worked with Saskatoon, where if we're in a huge pinch, actually Saskatoon and Prince Albert both have expertise in-house, and they will be open to us contracting them out in case of an emergency, but their preference is that we use external when possible.
Okay. All in favor?
Thank you. That
Okay,
concludes my
thank you.
report.
City Clerk?
Hey, so today I am bringing the bylaw 2019-17, it's an amendment to the procedure bylaw for the second reading and third, hopefully, reading today. This was just to basically amend the times that we are going to be sending out our agenda publicly and to council. So instead of going Tuesday at 4:30, it'll be going out Wednesday at 4:30, it'll be going out Fridays at noon going forward. And then there was a little bit of things that we had added early in the year to the order of business. So I just included those amendments in this amending bylaw as well.
So we have in front of us the motion, please. Councillor Philipchuk?
I'd like to make the motion that bylaw 2019-17 be read for a second time.
Seconder for that? Councillor Beck? Any further discussion? All in favor? And motion to have third and final reading. Councillor Beck?
Yeah, I'd like to motion that bylaw 2019-17, a bylaw to amend bylaw 2018-02, the procedure bylaw be read a third time and now be adopted and signed and sealed by mayor and city clerk.
Okay, seconder, Councillor Shram. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay.
And the next piece of business I brought forward is the 2020 council meeting calendar. So it has the amended dates that the agenda would be going out in there. There's also an addition to we have dates to note for everybody so you can put them in your personal and work calendars ahead of time and you know that they're coming up. So I guess now that we passed the bylaw, we could adopt the calendar for 2020.
Okay, Councillor Peterson?
I'd like to make the motion to adopt the 2020 council meeting calendar as presented.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jones? Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, Russ. Please, sir.
Oh, just a file.
Oh, okay, so if you can have a motion to file reports. Councillor Philipchuk?
Make the motion that administration reports for November 12, 2019 be accepted by council and filed as presented.
A seconder for that? Councillor Shram? All in favor? Okay, moving down to council and committee reports, starting with mayor's report. Okay, so, on my report, we have a couple business items. We have the first one, which is to approve attendance for the senior supper. Does someone want to make that motion, please? Councillor Beck?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion to approve the attendance of mayor and council to the Warman Senior Suppers, which take place on December 3rd, 2019, and December 5th, 2019.
Seconder to that? Councillor Shram, is there any further discussion there? All in favor? And if you guys can let Dawn know which night's going to work for you, so that we can let seniors drop in executive know. Next motion. Who wants to make that one? Councillor Philipchuk?
I'd like to make the motion that council support and allocate $100 to Your Voice Armchair Conversation, Women in Non-Traditional Roles, which is taking place at Route 11 on Thursday, November 14th, 2019 at 7 p.m.
A seconder for that? Councillor Beck? Any further discussion?
So just a question, the $100, is that for rental or is that for?
No, the rental is, there's no charge for rental, just for food and that kind of stuff.
Excellent. Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions there? All in favor? Is there any other questions on my report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to, we don't have anyone to speak to the youth report, but we have it there in front of us. Looks like I think their sock drive is going fairly well from what I hear, and so we'll be able to present our socks to Janelle on Monday. And we have a motion in front of us. Someone want to make that motion? Councillor Philipchuk?
I'd like to make the motion to file mayor's and youth council representatives' report as presented.
Seconder for that? Councillor Peterson? All in favor? Okay, Councillor on table, starting with Councillor Philipchuk.
Okay, a few things. Start out with the Remembrance Day services. I had a chance to go to a couple. The one at the high school, which is more educational. It's a good hour and a half. It's the students putting it on. The teacher sits up high, and so if you ever get a chance to go to it, and especially if you're a history buff at all, it really is a great opportunity. They pick a different period of the wars and really give a lot of information with the Canadian impact. So. Also had a chance yesterday and had a chance to lay the wreath on behalf of MP Kelly Block, but also just seeing all the people in Warman. I just thought that this is cold. This is going to be a little quieter than usual, but no, we filled it up and there's people at the back, and even that's something. It was almost too full at some point, but they went up top and things were covered. But just seeing everybody in uniform and all the colors and just how much passion there is from Warman Fire Rescue with it. I had a chance to go to the social after at Warman Fire Rescue too, and it's just seeing the youth that they're all buying in and they are very engaged with all of this. So I really enjoyed it. I had a chance to talk to quite a few people at the social. Also had the economic development forum that we had. We went to it, Councillor Tooley and I had a chance to go to that with Mayor Spence. And I'm probably just going to mention one aspect to it. I mean, the one speaker was talking about 13 ways with your community, issues with your community. While we're growing and things that are happening, those are good things to reflect on. It's a good book to read because it's those things to watch out for. And the number one thing was mentioned was water, which is interesting, that you have quantity and quality taken care of. Like just those types of things that you just start dealing with other things along the way, but there's 13 different things all the way through. I think we do a really good job with most of them, and our growth shows that. Like if we weren't growing, because there's a point in communities really going through their years, is that at some point they flatten out, or they can flatten out. And why does that happen? And so this is really a good chance to reflect on some of those issues and why that happens. A good read, I actually got it from the library, so I put it on hold, so I'll be getting that book coming my way, so.
We actually have a copy of that book. I don't know who has it, but we do have a copy of that book.
Because he presented it Sumo.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So a little longer, I think. Well, no, probably the same, but very good speaker, obviously. Had a chance today to go to the regional reconciliation meeting, and today we had Gilbert, who is retiring. Gilbert, Jill. What's his- Duval, yes. Who works for the city of Saskatoon. And so he's been there 30 years, he said. So it was interesting talking to him after and just all the things that he's seen all the way through. So his job, a lot of ways, was implementing a lot of the calls to action. So what were the strategies dealing with that? So we do have a lot of contacts with the OTC, but just seeing how Saskatoon is really taking a leadership role, and even some of the documentation he was showing, some of the trademark documentation that's being used across Canada started in Saskatoon. And so he was sharing that with us today in probably an hour presentation. So he'll be missed, but I'm sure he'll be shoulder tapped for many, many jobs and opportunities, and he's talked about a few of those coming his way. And also one that I know a few of us volunteer on is the Warman Sport and Cultural Village. We just had a committee meeting, just that wind up the profits for the supper, sports celebrity supper, were $78,000, I believe. So it was up actually this year, and up because we had some major sponsors that came in at the end, so that helped out. So that is the last one for this group putting it on. Where it goes, we'll help any group that wants to take that on, but this group, the Warman Sport and Cultural Village Committee doing it, this will be the last one with them. So they still have the hockey draft and then the passing of the torch of that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councillor Shram.
Only one thing, the soup and pie supper at the Seniors Drop-In Center on Friday, I attended, and it was well received. Raised about, I'm taking a guess, I think about $1,700. And we thank you for your donations for the food bank. We are accepting food donations this year. We are concerned about some of the finances coming in close here to Christmas, but hopefully we'll make it good. So you can think of, if you have any donations, we would be happy to receive them. That's all I have.
Thank
Just
you.
I'll point one thing, because from the Ignite Business Summit, every speaker, they did a donation on behalf of each speaker to the food banks in Warman and in Martinsville.
great.
So I thought that should be pointed out, because for each speaker they did that.
Awesome.
Councillor Peterson.
I have a little different perspective from attending the Remembrance Day ceremony, in that I was one of those latecomers, and there was probably at least a couple hundred of us standing in the back, and to see the young families, especially with young children and babies, that despite standing remotely, they were there for the whole ceremony, and the dedication to remembering the fallen soldiers that for in Canada, of those young people with young families. I mean, that's fabulous to see. So it was like a packed house. I was really surprised by just how many were there, because I think this probably would be one of the largest attendances we've had at that, right?
It's getting larger and larger. I think they said there was over 1,000, but I'm thinking of a lot more than 1,000 there, actually.
I would suggest that we, in the future, that we're almost to the point where it may make sense to go to the arena, part of it, for the ceremony.
Cover.
What?
No cover for the ice.
Oh, we don't?
Well, I think there was definitely room for more rows of chairs.
Yes.
Because your color party doesn't need that much room, so I think that would be a good suggestion for next year, to have a few more rows of chairs in the back. Because it's good to see those people also sitting.
And there were seats up front that we
Yeah,
never
that was
sort of
another
filled
thing.
in.
Yeah, like there were, like if you, let's say up near me,
Yeah, there was lots of seats in the front that had been reserved, so probably at the very beginning of the service, the MC could have maybe just said, come and move up to the front, and they would have choice seating too. So for next year.
Yeah, but it was, regardless, it was still well put on, and it was well attended. And there was, I heard not a single complaint from anyone, so
That's good.
it was a great event.
Well, there was a real nice touch at the very beginning when we walked in from outside, coming in at 9:30 in the morning, and Paul's hockey team had lined the corridor, all these little tykes waving and saying hello, good morning. That was so nice. That was so nice to see that. So, okay, Councillor Tooley.
Since the last meeting, I guess, like Councillor Philipchuk mentioned, I was at the Prairie Sky Chamber of Commerce, the Ignite Excellent Business Summit. I was trying to remember if I got the title correctly. I thought it was very, very well done. Really good attendance. I think there was, I can't remember if they were sold out for sure or not. I know last numbers I saw, they were like 80-90%, so I don't know if they reached the sold out portion, but very good speakers. One of the ones that I think I actually sort of took, I think maybe the most out of, other than the 13 Ways to Kill Your Community, was Blue Moose Media, which was there talking about social media. And there may be some opportunities there. They do training programs or training courses that somebody like Aaron might be interested in something like that in the future. Or it might be a little remedial for where you're at. So that's something to check into. And then next Tuesday, I travel to Regina for a SAMA Rural Advisory or Urban Advisory Committee meeting.
Okay, hopefully you have good weather.
Hope so too.
Councillor Jones.
The only thing since last time was I went to the Warman Hockey Board meeting on November 3rd just to bring our thank you on behalf of the city. So thanks, Don, for providing that. Very well received. I think we forget how often or how meaningful just saying thank you to boards of some of these groups that don't get thank yous very often and deal with a lot of conflict, so they really appreciated that. So I just want to say again what a great idea that was.
Okay, good. Councillor Beck.
Yes, so I had the opportunity to make it to 2 Remembrance Day ceremonies. The first one was the Warman Community Middle Year School, and like there again, that was a very, very well attended event, and that kind of thing. And yes, I certainly heed the the recommendation from the mayor for for going to attend to that, because yes, definitely like a lot of certainly emotion there in the room, from the school, and with this year the message, they certainly take time and certainly hammer that home. So that there was definitely great to see. And Dennis Poirier, I was there from the to lay a wreath for the veterans. I laid one for the city of Warman. And this year also the principal from the middle year school was there also. So with this year it was just great to certainly take that in. So I certainly thank the mayor for allowing me to sit in on that opportunity. And here on November 11th, this year, certainly like our let's say like our city was very well attended. Corley did say that we had over the I think 1,000 representatives there. So we have a debrief on that, and certainly the concerns of the chairs, I'll definitely bring that forward. But one of the changes that we did this year was also let's say have the laying of the wreaths actually
that was
certainly
good.
Certainly televised there, for people to kind of see that. So I didn't get a breakdown as to how that looked on the inside. My wife and I were actually out there also, of course, standing right in the wind tunnel too. So yeah, it was definitely cool.
Well, the other piece that you guys did really well, was a really good decision, was to have 4 people laying at the same time, or going up at the same time. That made that very quick.
Yeah, because like one of the improvements from last year, because like that was such a long duration out there, and whatnot, is trying to find a way to make that more efficient, to have people up there. So certainly good to hear that was certainly noted. So I'll pass that along also. Later this week, I have a Saskatchewan Waste meeting in Melfort, so I have that on Thursday. So I'll be attending that. I'll bring details from that back to our next meeting. And this weekend we have the Warman Community Association doing the Craft and Bake Sale. So that will be taking place here at the Legend Center. So that will be open till 3 o'clock on Saturday. So hopefully we can see you guys there through. And that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving down to correspondence, we have a motion. Does someone want to make that one, please? Councillor Beck?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion that the correspondence from Doug Eichel with the Condominium Complex Board, the RCMP media releases, and the sock and food drive posters that have been received by council on Tuesday, November 12th, 2019.
Okay, and seconder. Councillor Jones? Is there discussion there? Councillor Philipchuk?
I guess, do we get a chance to talk about the letter? And I think,
We should do that right now.
I guess I'd like to hear a little bit. I know this is one that's come up in the past, and I think Doug brings up a good point about the drive-through and the truck going backwards. But I know this is one I've had many discussions with Brad with in the past, and some of the reasons why and the traffic concerns in the past. So I'd just maybe like to rehash that a bit to understand why we're where we're at and what the thinking is sort of moving forward.
Brad, do you want to join us back up here so we can talk about this?
So yeah, this is I think the third time that we have heard from the condo association in terms of the concerns with the one entrance off of Central Street. The big, I guess, issue that came about here is when we were doing the roadwork on the west end of Central, we temporarily gave them a secondary entrance off of the north end of the property into the alley that is behind Burke Place. And what we found is a lot of concern from the residents backing that alley that the excess traffic on top of the commercial traffic that was taking place from down the alley in terms of where the Venice House and that is, was, I guess, very detrimental to their environment that they were used to in terms of the noise, dust, and just overall kind of traffic in the area. In addition, when we talked to emergency services, there was no real reason that they needed a permanent access on that end, as long as it was able to, like a lot of the other developments in town, the Woods, which we've just approved 3 phases of, 1 entrance, 1 exit, but with some sort of gate or other on the other end of it in order to get through. And you know, when we look at I'd say the majority, I'm trying to think of even one where it does have multiple entrances in Warman. Most of them, for the most part, have just the 1 entrance and exit. Whether we're looking at some of the ones that have been approved in the past, like Crystal Villa, or if you're looking at some of the ones that, like the Woods 3 phases, which we've approved, or the Langer Place ones, which we've approved also more recently. We've had the discussion with the condo owners on a number of occasions. We've kind of voiced the concerns that have been raised about it being a separate entrance. And I mean, if there was concerns where we were doing construction on Central Street, or for whatever reason they couldn't use that main entrance, obviously we would open up the one on the north end for temporary access again. But from the city's perspective and administration's perspective, that's what it was made for. It was temporary access and not permanent access.
And it is an alley.
And it is an alley. The garbage, in terms of the concerns with the garbage, we've heard those from the condominium. I think they're valid concerns. That being said, when we had the conversation with Loris Disposal, they didn't raise any concerns with having to do what they do there. They said it's actually quite common that they will drive into a situation and actually have to do either a 3-point turn to kind of get out, or they'll back straight out. So when we talked to the utility company, if they had concerns with backing up or any of the processes that they were going through, maybe we'd have to take another look at it. But it seemed like between emergency services, the utilities, you know, those kind of concerns, I guess, were dealt with.
Okay, just ask for clarification around what mechanism of garbage collection do we have in this condo? Is it individual bins or is it?
It's individual bins, yeah.
Okay.
And they all put them on one side of the development.
Okay.
On garbage day.
Okay.
So
and that's been like that since.
Yeah, and what I'm reading, I guess, is the truck does the 3-point turn on Central and then backs all the way up and then goes forward
Right.
on the way out.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And again, I mean, I not ideal, but when we talked to the utility company, they said it's not unusual for them and didn't create any concerns from their perspective.
Anything else?
We can definitely, you know, respond to the letter in terms of kind of reinforcing why the original decision was made, and answering some of, you know, the concerns around emergency access, the utility, garbage pickup, and that type of thing. Just kind of reiterating, I guess, what we've said in the past, if that's council's wishes.
Yeah, because you obviously need another road in somewhere. Couldn't be the alley, it'd have to be another road.
Yeah, and there's really no other options unless you open that north part up. You know, that's not to say when whatever happens to the east of it, there may not be some other options, but I mean, that's to kind of make that decision or determination now would be next to impossible.
Councillor Shram?
Has there been, I guess, this would be discussion of the utility department, the utility, but the cost of changing their bins to a big bin rather than doing individual, that cost could be looked at to make it safer, because you get a lot of beep, beep, beep all the way up. I don't know, I'm curious as to the cost of that.
We've actually, when this condo development was initially kind of built and the condo association was initially set up, we approached them with that option. And for a variety of reasons, convenience, I guess, being the number one, they felt like they would prefer to have their own bin.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. All in favor of correspondence?
Yeah.
Okay, other reports. We have the turbidity report. Someone want to make that motion to file it? Councillor Tooley, you haven't done
Sure.
reports yet.
I'll make the motion to accept and file the turbidity report for October 2019.
Councillor Shram, you second that?
I will.
And any questions there? Okay, all in favor? City accounts for approval. Councillor Shram?
I move that we approve the city accounts as presented by checks numbered 21287-21389 for the total amount of $529,930.30, and the payroll vouchers numbered 97945-9862 in the amount of $94,015.74 for November 12th, 2019. I so move.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Beck, is there any questions there? Councillor Tooley?
I just want to clarify that with the payroll vouchers, is that the correct range?
Because there's one number missing.
Yeah, there's one number missing. Should maybe be 99862.
It's the first number that's off.
It's 981.
Oh, maybe the first
It's
number's off.
9795. Should be the first number instead of the 4 or 5.
97, oh, the first one.
Yeah, to 9862.
So the 4 shouldn't be in there?
The 4 shouldn't be in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you,
So I
Councillor
will
Tooley.
move
Good
forward
eyeballs.
for my motion. There we go.
Sorry.
Okay, all in favor? And a motion to adjourn. Councillor Peterson. Councillor Jones.
Make the motion that November 12th, 2019 regular meeting of council be adjourned.
Seconder. Councillor Tooley. All in favor?